because he's not a judicial activist. He's one that's been fighting for the Constitution. And also, I tried calling him today, but I called him right in the middle of a speech he was given, and he answered the phone but had to turn it off real quick. He is filing a federal lawsuit against the, who was it, Tim Pawlenty and Secretary of State Ritchie, because he wanted to run for the Chief Justice seat, and our Minnesota Supreme Court said that they couldn't. And so he's now filed that into the federal courts with Jill Clark, who has also wanted to run for the Chief Justice seat. We haven't been able to vote for our Chief Justice in a long time now, and so we're going to see how this goes. And the funny thing, the interesting thing is, if the U.S. Supreme Court doesn't hear this case by June 1st, they're out again of that possibility of running for that seat, unless the U.S. Supreme Court says you got to put them on the ballot. So we're going to, it's an interesting battle going on. We're going to see what's going to happen. But there is a big fury going on of whether we should elect or appoint our judges in Minnesota, and there was a forum held at the Mall of America, so that's why the sound on this tape won't be the best, but you'll hear two proponents of only electing our judges. That's Governor Alquist and Minnesota Supreme Court Justice G. Barry Anderson will be speaking for appointments, and then we'll have Eric Cardle, who's an attorney, who was Greg Wurzel's attorney, that took this and spoke before the U.S. Supreme Court on free speech for judges. And so he'll be on there, as well as Tony Sutton, who's the Republican Party chair. And it's an interesting debate. This was America's Future Foundation that put it on, as well as the 56 Club, which is designed after the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence. And the club is there to promote the principles of the Founding Fathers. And also, so the question being asked there, should we have the appointment of judges or should we have elections? And right now our Constitution is elections. That's the primary purpose, but the judiciary and the governor have overtaken that and have gone to basically appointing the judges, and the judges have been purposely resigning ahead of time so there would not be elections. So let's watch this. We'll see how far it goes, and hope you enjoy it. And we're just going to let it run here through quite a bit of it. So, all right, let's get it going.
And we'll get your question asked. So, Justice Anderson, you can go first.
Thank you for the opportunity to be with you here tonight. I'm going to begin with a brief word of introduction and then talk a little bit about how I came to be a proponent for changing the way we select and retain our judges. By way of introduction, as you heard from Jeff, I began the practice of law in Fairmont, and ultimately, after a stint as a practicing lawyer in Hutchinson, and then in Fairmont and then in Hutchinson, went on the Court of Appeals, and from there to the Supreme Court. But beginning in the mid-1980s, I began to get concerned about what I was seeing developing in terms of campaigns for judicial office, principally in other states. We're going to try this. Is that a little better? All right. I began with the observation as a practicing lawyer and as a citizen that I favor impartial judging. And I believe that impartial judging exists. And I would like to retain it. Now, it may be that some don't